Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Sunday, September 24th, 2017. Okay, so jumping into this video today, I wanted to talk about a couple things. First of all, uh, as you know, we had been doing some canning and I was using the gas grill. So we had finished up using one of our canisters of propane probably a couple weeks ago, but it was before we started doing the canning of the apple. So maybe 3 weeks ago. Okay. So I had the empty canister sitting in the building, and I'm sure we're all guilty of this, and I'm sure that if you have more than one propane tank, I'm sure one of them's empty. Okay. So I had this stupid empty gas or propane tank sitting in the building, in the shop, and so I'm like, okay, I got to get to the store and I got to switch it out. So it bothered me so bad, it would been on my mind, that this morning, at probably 6:30 this morning, I jumped in the truck and grabbed the empty propane tank and did the exchange and got the new propane tank. So I have a couple of propane tanks already, and as you guys know, I have the big tank as well. But to me, it's just like, having that empty propane tank sitting around is such a useless thing, when it's like, $20 to do the exchange and get a brand new one completely full, and then you got, again, it's another backup to have, and I like having that. Okay. So that's why I went out and I did that today. It was bothering me, so I went and did that. So one of the things I want to talk about in this video, the main thing I wanted to talk about in this video today, was rice and beans. Okay, now the staple of preppers everywhere is rice and beans. Okay, so let's talk about rice and beans today, and how many servings you can get with rice and beans. Okay, so I got 2 pounds of beans here. These are split green peas. So basically, with every quarter cup of beans, once it cooks up, it fluffs up, if you will, it turns into a half a cup. So out of 2 pounds of beans, being whatever, be it lima beans, pinto beans, all those black-eyed peas, whatever. For every 2 pounds, you're basically going to get 12 meals. Okay, so you're going to get 12 half cups once you cook it up. So you're going to get 12 quarter cups, and once it cooks up, it ends up being a half a cup. So for every 2 pounds of beans, you're going to end up with 12 half cups once it's cooked of beans. Okay. Now with rice, now here's just got a big canister of rice, and what I did was, once I put it in the jar, I took the label off and how to, for cooking it up, so that it's got your stovetop instructions and the microwave instructions right on there. So, but as you guys know, I got a ton of freaking rice. Okay. Now with rice, for every pound of rice, you will get 7 half cups. Okay, so basically, you cook that, and rice fluffs up as well once absorbs the water and stuff like that. And so basically, I'm going to read this to you. Basically, what you're going to combine: 1 cup on the side rice and 2 cups of water. Okay, and you're going to put it in a saucepan. You're going to bring the contents to a boil. Reduce heat, cover, and let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes, or until water is absorbed. It says remove from heat and let it stand for 5 minutes, covered before serving. So you're talking, you bring that water to a boil. That takes not very long at all. But then you're 15 to 20 minutes of cook time for the rice, and then you let it sit for like another 5 minutes. Okay. But basically, what you want to think about, let's say you have 100 pounds of rice. We're going to go with 100 pounds of rice. With 100 pounds of rice, you're looking at 700 half cups. Okay, so that's a lot of freaking meals. Okay, but now let's look at it in a different context. If you have that 100 pounds of rice and you're feeding 10 people, okay, now those 700 meals is going to come out to 70 days. 70 days of 1 cup of rice, or 1 half cup of rice per person per day. So realistically, 100 pounds of rice is really not a whole lot. Now again, depending on how many people you're taking care of, how many people you're feeding, that's all going to go into that. But you know, with rice and beans, they're a really good staple for any prepper to have. Okay. Now, obviously, as you guys know, I'm a big believer in diversity as far as your food storage goes. Okay. Rice and beans need to be the staple, but you also need to have a variety of other things as well. You need to have canned goods. Okay. You need to have long-term food storage, so, and rice and beans are long-term food storage, but you need to have, you know, freeze-dried food as well. Okay, and so that's really really important to have the freeze-dried. And like I said, Legacy is a really good option for that. You know, 25-year shelf life. I mean, you can't go wrong. But you want to have diversity in your meals. You wouldn't want to eat just rice and beans every day. You lose your freaking mind. So, like I said, I've shown in a couple other videos different things to add into your rice. I mean, you can take bouillon cubes. You can take chicken bouillon cubes. You can take beef bouillon cubes. It gives it a different flavor for that meal. Mixing in a can of chicken or a can of tuna fish in with your rice gives it a different flavor. You know, you can do so many different things. Putting a soup mix in there, or you know, any kind of like a gravy type of thing, a chicken gravy base. It's going to be a different taste. So those are really really important. Rice is very very cheap. I mean, I think if you go out and if you go to Sam's Club now, it's been a while since I've been at Sam's Club, but if you get a 50-pound bag of rice, the last I saw that it was under $20 for a 50-pound bag of rice. Okay. What I'm planning actually on doing, hopefully this week, is I'm going to basically take $100 and I want to go and I'm going to hopefully pick up 200 pounds of rice. I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and get 200 pounds of rice. Okay. It's going to put me in a position where long term for a group, it's going to give us a really solid base for a good length of time. And let's go with 10 people. Okay. 100 pounds of rice, 700 meals, 10 people, 70 days. Okay, so if I go pick up 200 pounds of rice, that gives us that one meal a day, basically just the rice, for 140 days. I mean, you know, you're obviously going to mix other things in there as well. You're going to probably have, you know, you're going to be doing hunting, you're going to be doing gathering, you're going to be doing all kinds of different things. But it's a good, solid staple to have that rice. Like I said, beans, another great thing to have. You know, you can get a lot of meals out of it, a lot of protein. That's the biggest thing. It's a lot of protein. You know, so those are real important things. And like I said, I've been thinking about this, and I wanted to share that with you and kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at, how many meals you can get out of rice. So when you go and you buy a 10-pound bag of rice, okay, you know, and then you go, okay, what can I get out of here, you know? So you're looking at 10-pound bag of rice, you're looking at 70 meals, okay? You know, 70 half cups for a meal, you know? And if you only have a few people in your group, it's going to go a lot further along. So, I mean, I would recommend having a good amount of rice in your stockpile. You know, it's a real good staple to have. Lots of beans in your stockpile. Shelf life on rice, unlimited, can last forever. Pretty much beans, depending on what kind of beans you have and how you're stored, you're looking at 25, 30 years on your beans, okay? That's really important, because then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it, okay? You know, so I'm just sticking basically with beans and rice today. I want to talk about those. Your cook time on rice is time consuming. You know, you got to have the water access, obviously, and the fuel to be able to cook it. But it's a great basis to start your preps on. If you're just getting started prepping and you go out and you buy yourself, I mean, even if you go out and buy yourself a 10-pound bag of rice, okay, you're looking at, you know, 70 meals. You know, so that can, if it's just you, that's 70 days. So, you know, and having at least something to eat as opposed to nothing to eat is a huge thing. 10 pounds of rice, you can throw that in your pack and you can hump out down the road, and you basically you're going to eat for 2.5 months, you know, almost. So, you know, think about that. I mean, it's really important, and it's something that should be in every staple as far as prepping goes. What you should have, you definitely should have rice, okay? And You know, like there's the old joke that says a billion Chinese people can't be wrong. So it's just a smart thing to do, and it's like I said, it's a good basis, a good staple, and having the different things, having different spices, different ways to flavor it, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, different things to give you a different taste is also really, really important, guys. So I definitely wanted to, like I said, I wanted to talk about this today. Like I said, the propane thing was driving me crazy, and I had to do it, so I went out and did that today. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here again today. It's probably mid 80s. I think it's about 85 degrees. Clear blue skies. The last time I checked, the solar was at 3.2 kilowatt hours for the day, and that was probably an hour ago. So we're having another good day. Yesterday ended up being a grand total of 3.7 kilowatt hours, and so like I said, we've been doing real decent as far as our power production, and what we use. We don't use it as much as you would think. Like I said, the average household uses 30 kilowatt hours a day. The average off-grid family uses 10 kilowatt hours a day. We are surviving on less than 5 kilowatt hours a day. So, but we just, it works out for us. When I add to the system, we'll have more power. It'll give us more options to do other things. And that's basically what it comes down to. It's running longer during the day, and it starts us out earlier in the season, later in the fall. So that's a good thing. You can't go wrong there. Today was a productive day. I got some stuff done. I've been trying to, I'm just trying to be productive every day and move forward and make some kind of progress. And like I said, just getting the propane tank, and I started doing some cleanup. I'll show you that all in tomorrow's video. But getting that propane tank, it's weird how something so simple and can give you such peace of mind. Okay, but having that empty tank was driving me crazy. So I had to go and I had to do it today. And so that's what I did. And I feel better having it. 15 pounds of propane, it gets you a long way. I mean, and I like I said, it's all about peace of mind, guys. It's whatever you can do to make yourself comfortable. That's what you should do. Okay. Basically, in all of my videos, what I'm doing now, just so you guys know too, there's a link to the Legacy food. If you're interested, click on the link. Help yourself. The number one thing I want you guys to do is to help yourself. Okay, and having long-term food storage, and like like I said about the Legacy, it is a 25-year shelf life where you can buy it, you can forget about it, you don't have to do anything else. Okay, so that's really, really nice. And GMO free, and it's vegetarian, and it's really, really good. I mean, we've tried 3 different ones so far. We're going to be doing another review, probably not this week, but maybe next week, on another meal. And it's really good stuff, guys. I mean, it's like, and I'm not just saying that, it's just like, it's really, really good. So, you need that something to break up the taste of everything that you're doing. Okay, so having a meal that you basically cook it up and add the water, and boom, you got yourself a nice meal and it tastes good. That's all about peace of mind too, and giving you some form of normalcy in a crazy situation, which when SHTF happens, it's going to be a crazy situation. Okay, so I wanted to talk real quick too. I figured out what I've added recently. Now I probably got 20 more pounds of split green peas that I gotta pack up that I haven't packed up yet, so I didn't count those. But I just give you an example of what I've added basically onto what I've already had. But basically in the last 4 months, I've added on 180 pounds of rice and 246 pounds of beans. And I was like, oh my God, it is. But the thing is, there's no such thing as too much. And when SHTF happens, going to the grocery store is over, and that's why I've really emphasized to you guys adding to your food. Food is going to be key. Starvation is a horrible, horrible thing. If you've seen any of the videos of people starving to death, and it's not a pleasant thing. So to put yourself in a situation where food is not the issue, I mean, water's number one, okay? Don't get me wrong. Water's number one. Without fresh water or clean water, you're dead in 3 days, okay? But food, you can go without food for 6 weeks before you die. But think about how horrible a death that would be. And I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to put myself in a situation where I have to worry about that part of it. So I continue to add to my preps. I continue to add food. I will continue to add rice and beans and everything else that I'm adding as well. It's just smart. And I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you to add to your preps. Be smart, guys, and diversify. Have a lot of different things. Have some MREs. Have your long-term food storage with the legacy foods. Have your or your freeze-dried foods. I'm sorry, and then you have your long-term stuff like rice and beans. Honey is another great one to have. You know, honey has an unlimited shelf life; it can last forever. So there's a lot of things out there that you can do and add on that's going to help you out in the long run. Okay, just be smart, work at it methodically, and even if you can't go out and buy 100 pounds of rice at a shot, if you buy 10 pounds of rice, 10 pounds of rice is not that expensive, okay? And 10 pounds of rice is 70 meals, okay? So think about that. And even if you ate rice 3 times a day, I don't know why anybody would want to eat rice 3 times a day, but if say you did, you know, you would have some food, you know, and that's important. Something is better than nothing. So even if you just, like I said, if you had that 1/2 cup a day, that's 70 days worth of food for one person. So the more people you have, obviously that cuts that down. That's why, like I said, if you could go out tomorrow and drop $100 and get 200 pounds of rice, it's going to put you a long way towards being a lot more comfortable. Okay, so anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off of here. I hope everybody's had a wonderful weekend. Spending time with your family and friends is really important. The kids and I went to a movie on Friday, which was really nice, and just spent some quality time together. So I'm going to jump off of here for now, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. Okay? And remember, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to reach, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else is going to do that, okay? So, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. I hope you're having, like I said, I hope you had a great weekend. And I'll talk to you later. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.